Welcome, everybody, to Wellness Wednesday. We're so excited that you're here. Each week, we are bringing really interesting topics to you where you get to learn something, just value add, and things that are really helpful for your life. So tonight is no different, and we have Nicole Scott, who is a holistic nutritionist, as well as other things, and her lovely mother, Janice, are going to be coming from Mexico to share with us. And we also have Melissa Hyde, who is a certified personal training, and she actually flew in unexpectedly to Toronto. She's going to be joining us from Canada. So real quickly, I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you have wondered why we suggest that you stop eating before 6 p.m. in our lifestyle guidelines. Does anybody wonder? Well, Nicole and Melissa are going to share all about that. They're going to share about the benefits of intermittent fasting, and they're also going to share how you can really optimize your fast and stretch it out to an even longer fast with even more benefits. So I'm super excited about this topic, and I want to turn it over first to Melissa. Melissa, are you there? I think we're having a little technical difficulty getting her. Nicole, do you see her?
I don't see her, so we can just go right to me. And if she joins us a bit later, we can bring her on, no problem.
Perfect. Okay, Nicole, enlighten us.
Okay, well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. We're here tuning in from Bucerias, Mexico. And I have been in the wellness industry for well over 20 years, and so is my mother. And we are excited to talk about, I'm going to say a life hack, which is around fasting, the conversation around fasting. Now, I'm going to tell you that when I first learned about fasting as a holistic nutritionist, I heard it, but I didn't hear it because I was not interested in that season of my life. I loved food. I grew up having breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in between. And so for me, and I actually had an eating disorder in high school. So fasting really freaked me out. And I didn't want it to trigger anything. So I stayed away from it for a very long time until about 10 years ago when this Jumpstart program came to be within our Juice Plus community. And that was one of the guidelines. And I was like, no, I don't want to go there. And I remember having this beautiful conversation with my mentor, Dr. Mitra Ray. And she kind of calmed me down and shared some of the science behind it and the benefits of it. And I'm going to definitely share some of that, but I just want to give you a background because some of you might relate to my story if you've been resisting fasting. And so she said, just give it a go for 30 days. I know you're using a lot of the other principles, but I was really kind of stuck in my weight and I wasn't able to kind of get to my ideal goal. So she said, try adding intermittent fasting. Stop eating between 5 and 6 o'clock and then push out your breakfast, till about that 10 or 11 o'clock. And I gradually started to get used to this intermittent fast. And I can tell you that that was the one hack that allowed me to drop 14 pounds in 30 days. And I was like, oh my gosh, but it wasn't just about the weight. I remember like my brain was much clearer in my thinking. My bloat went away and my energy really went up. So I started this when I was 43 years old. So I've been doing intermittent fasting now for 10 years. I've been doing an average of what we call a 16/8. So 16 hours we're not eating. And in that 8-hour window, we're eating our whole food nutrition food plan. And all that's available through our Jumpstart program and the guide that we have to offer. And so I'm now 53 years old, and I'm not gonna lie, losing weight or maintaining a weight gets a little bit like a roller coaster as we're going through the perimenopause and menopause. And so I started to dig in more and go back to school and learn about longer fasting and the benefits. And so tonight we're going to talk to you a little bit about the benefits, but then we're going to teach you how to make what I call is a fat bomb. And it sounds kind of scary, but they're very delicious. And the point of making a fat bomb tonight is for those that are new to fasting and it kind of freaks you out and you're trying to get to a goal of, let's say, even 14, and your body's only used to like 12, and 2 hours seems like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do it. A fat bomb would be really handy to consume because it's mostly of healthy fats. And what it's going to do is it's going to help you stay in your fat burning state versus a sugar burning state. So if you're starting something and you're having a fat bomb, it's going to kind of extend your, I'm going to say, state of ketosis. And when you're in a state of ketosis, all that means is that you're in fat burning. And fat burning is a really good thing. And really, at the end of the day, what I have realized is you want to kind of be flexible in your metabolism and the two states of being a sugar burner and a fat burner. And so in regards to kind of all the benefits, and there's so much research behind intermittent fasting and just fasting overall. And I mean, some people will do it for religious reasons. Some people will do it for health reasons, to heal their body. And there's a lot of research. My favorite book that I bought about a year ago was called Fasting Like a Girl. And it changed my life. I wish I would have known this information when I was in my perimenopause state, because I was doing intermittent fasting. But what I didn't realize is that when we have hormones, women, that there's a time to fast when we are in our cycle, but there's also a time to feast and eat really good high levels of complex carbs to build progesterone. So that's a great book as a recommendation to get. If you're a woman and are really curious about fasting, I want to make sure that you're doing it right for your hormones. And even for me as a woman now in menopause, I change up my fast. So sometimes I'm fasting at 16. Sometimes I'm pushing it to 18. Sometimes I do a longer fast to 24. I've even played around with 48. Those are really advanced. And I don't know where you are today on your journey, but even just starting to build out to 16-8 is a really good start, because it science has proven that it decreases the inflammation. It helps you lose weight. It lights up your brain with ketones, which your liver produces. It lowers cholesterol, and it's been proven that you can live longer. And who wants to live longer? I want to live longer with my mama bear. So I hope that helped to kind of give you a little bit of background on fasting. That's why I'm so proud to be part, not only of the Juice Plus company, but that we have this program that is available to anybody in the world that can be part of our program. And we just finished our 10-day jumpstart in January, and we're getting ready to gear up for our next one, which is February 5th. So if you're on here, if somebody has invited you to learn about our jumpstart, we're teaching you one of many of our life hacks, which is called intermittent fasting. So let's get started. I want to show, and hopefully some of you are going to cook with me or bake with me. My mom is going to be my sous chef. And we're going to get started. So we've got the recipe in front of us. And I'm just going to get my mom to come in. This is her mixer, so I don't want to touch and break it. So we're going to start with 1/2 cup of almonds, and are we going to just grind them first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to do that first because otherwise it gets all chunky.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Then the next is you can do a nut butter. So any nut butter will do. I prefer almond butter, or cashew butter is my two favorites. So you can put a 1/4 cup. Okay. And then after we get that in there, we're going to do 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. I'm sure that everybody on has this brand in your kitchen, right? Costco, Kirkland, everyone's like, I'm looking, I have a screen here. Everyone is shaking. So yeah, that's a favorite one. I'm going to just let you know what one of my favorite juices is. Taking your mascara off is using coconut oil. Just a little tip there.
Okay. Tell them that we're using a shot glass, but it's coconut oil, not tequila.
Not tequila. I think we use the Kirkland one.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, great. Yeah, if you're watching, the questions come. Okay. Got my dad behind here. He's the cameraman, Jim. So you can, if there's any questions that are coming in. So then The next is one pitted date. So make sure that you take the pit out or you're going to damage your food processor. And what's your favorite kind of date that you like?
I'm the Jula. They're the best. They're the medium.
Meaty. Okay, next one. We're adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're in Mexico, so vanilla is on every corner. We can get vanilla everywhere here in Mexico. Very easy to do. Then the next is a 1/4 cup of shredded coconut. And then we're going to get into our hemp seeds. And then chia seeds.
With the nibs. And the
Oh,
salt
and yeah, salt and cacao. So we kind of already did a little bit of prepping before.
and Saltic seeds.
Okay. Cacao powder, you can add a tablespoon already there.
Yep.
Beautiful. And that's it. We're going to blend it up. This is how easy it is to make these balls. Right. Any questions coming in?
Check it to see if it's moist enough.
Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So we'll take this out and then we want to show them how to make a ball. So then it's kind of moist, the actual mix, you can kind of see it right there. And all you're doing,
How many of the balls should you deal?
I would just say one. One a day, and the purpose of them is to help you extend your fast. So last night when I was working with some women online, one of the ladies was trying to push to a 48-hour fast, so almost a 2-day. And she was doing electrolytes. So I am a fan of electrolytes. So you can go and get your favorite electrolyte. Very important when you are fasting, especially when you're doing extending fasting. So electrolytes, and then she had 1 ball, and that allowed her to get to her 48, and she felt like a rock star. If anybody, maybe in the chat, does anybody has had like a ketone or ketosis high or a fasting high? Has anybody experienced that before? Where you get to that phase where you're just like, your brain just goes from sugar burning to fat burning? If you haven't, it is incredible. Honestly, like you think that you can climb Mount Everest when your brain.
a runner's high?
I guess so. Yeah, when your body is creating and your body is burning ketones, it's a beautiful high. But then there's a certain point when it wears off, and that's time to eat. So that's why, like, I teach women to be intuitive. Be intuitive. How does your body feel? So honestly, this is, I mean, I'm not a calorie counter per se, but this is probably going to be about 300 calories. But you can see beautifully how they're rolled. And then my mom made these earlier and she rolled them in coconut. So if you love coconut, a little bit of extra, it's beautiful. Put them in the fridge for 30 minutes and then they harden. They make about 8.
Big ones, those big ones.
Yeah.
Maybe smaller. The other thing is to grind up pumpkin seeds, because pumpkin seed are good for all the doshas, if you know anything about Ayurveda. So my friend that teaches it says roll them in pumpkin seeds. So that's your very best thing to do.
Yeah. And then for the Juice Plus complete lovers, I have, we experimented on this last week. So if you are, let's say you're done your fasting, you're in your eating window and you love protein balls, you have a household that's active and on the go, you can still take this base recipe, add a scoop of complete, and I find about 2 tablespoons of like a plant milk or even water. And then you have a beautiful complete chocolate ball that any of your family members will absolutely love. And you can definitely eat that within your eating window because you're going to get that beautiful balance of fat, complex carbohydrates, of course, a lot of fiber. And maybe you can have 1 or 2 of those. Any other questions on that?
Somebody asked if you can have coffee during your fasting.
Yes, that's a great question. So yes, coffee you can absolutely have during fasting. You can also have it with tea. A hack that a lot of the fasting community does is putting fat in their coffee. So maybe you're not doing a fat bomb, but having a cup of coffee and adding, let's say, a little bit of organic cream or an organic plant milk or ghee, and whipping that up. If you're doing a little bit of healthy fat, make sure it's healthy fat. And be careful about the plant milks, because a lot of plant milks have seed oils in them. So processed seed oils that have been heated, and they cause oxidative stress. I'm not a big fan of seed oils. So there are certain plant milks out there that have seed oils and some that don't. So when you're looking, just make sure that it's not a processed fat, like a seed oil in there, like a canola oil or a soy oil in there. That's usually GMO. Just be careful of that.
Does the coffee with fat and cream break your fast?
So what it does, so this is where it gets a little technical. Just like we're encouraging you that you can, do, there's like, we call them clean fast and a dirty fast. So this would be like a dirty fast. A dirty fast means that you're adding a little bit of calories to your fast, but you're still helping your body stay in ketosis, into the fat burning mode. Okay. To get the health benefits of making these ketones, if that makes sense. So does it break your fast from a calorie standpoint? Yes, but you're still going to be able to be in that ketosis and helping you, get to that place, if that makes sense. But I mean, some people, and this is where like you might want to, and this is where you can really geek out. And I went down this road, is you can get a blood monitor, like a sugar glucose monitor. You can get a keto monitor, and you can like be your own guinea pig and science experiment just to see, I can wave my magic wand, and what might break your fast and get you out of ketosis might be different for me. So if you are really about science and you really want to go in deep, that's where you would need to go. But most people don't want to go there and prick their finger every day. I know it's not fun when I don't like it, but I like to know if I'm in ketosis or what is breaking my fast, if that makes sense.
Question was asked is, when's the best time to eat your fat bomb?
When you get to the point where you're gonna chew your arm off. I just don't. You'll just know. Like if you're a newbie and you're so used to, let's say, eating at even 6 o'clock in the morning, right? And you're pushing it to go to 8 or 9, and you're just starting to feel weak. You're starting to feel like, oh my gosh, like I need food. That would be your opportunity to put in this beautiful fat bomb and see how it calms your nervous system down, calms that kind of stress that might be happening in your body. And in the beginning, it does take some time. Your body will adjust to it. Like in the beginning, when you are a newbie, it takes some time to get to that 16-8. Wouldn't you agree? Like even with your experience, right? So my mom's been fasting with us, and she's learning how to like just be aware of like asking yourself, like, am I just eating out of boredom? Am I eating because this has just been the routine that's been passed down to me for generations? And I love fasting because I kind of feel that it's more of like an opportunity to be aware, conscious of like what, like it slows me down. Like I find when I'm in my fasting mode, it slows me down. And then when I actually get the opportunity to break my fast, it's the best. It's like you're sitting down, you got your beautiful food. Hopefully you've taken some time to like put that whole food on your plate. Bless your food. I'm all about blessing, sending that energy, being grateful for the beautiful food. And then I tell my clients when I work with them, try to put a timer on for the first few times and take 20 minutes to eat your dinner. That's really hard for a lot of people, but it slows you down, and that's better for your digestive system. And there's just the appreciation, and you'll look at your food differently, because how many of us eat mindlessly? Have you ever caught yourself like coming home and you're like literally grabbing anything, the bag of chips, the salsa, and you're just like eating with mindful or not mindful, right? And so I love fasting because, let's say you go on a holiday, this is a great one, and you just go and you enjoy, but you can come back and very quickly reset your body and really get rid of the inflammation fast. I'll tell you one story just to give you an appreciation. This summer, I was invited to Chicago for 5 days with a leadership group with their Juice Plus company, and I totally indulged. I had Chicago popcorn, stuff that I never usually eat. And I came back and I stepped on my scale and I was like, oh my gosh, I gained 7 pounds in 5 days. Now, I didn't technically gain 7 pounds in 5 days. I didn't eat that much calories, but the scale was telling me that I was inflamed. The foods that I was eating were inflaming me. And so all I did was do a 36-hour fast, and I reset the next day or like 2 days later, and I was back to my weight. So that's why I love like the fasting lifestyle, is that you're still eating whole food, you're not starving yourself, you're mindful of the food that you're eating. And it's just a great tool. Now, I will say, there are some people that should not fast. If you are pregnant or breastfeeding, if you are dealing or have dealt with an eating disorder and you haven't maybe healed from it yet, I would say there are certain diseases, like if you have extreme adrenal fatigue and you've been diagnosed by your doctor, you probably, or you have major blood sugar issues going on right now, fasting probably is not going to be your friend. So I always say, make sure that you follow up with maybe a health professional if you're unsure, and have that conversation with them before you make a decision that this is the right, fit for you and your lifestyle.
A question asked, do you take the Juice Plus capsules while you're fasting?
I play with it. I've done my own testing, and it doesn't take me out of like ketosis. There's really no sugar to raise your blood. So I do at times, and sometimes I don't. So it just depends. Today I was like, oh, I really needed some extra nutrients. I felt like a little weak on my fast. So I ended up just taking my Juice Plus, and it kind of just like perks me up a little bit without the spike in sugar.
What milk do you use that's non-dairy that you've been using that we typically buy from?
I'm using ghee right now. I'm getting an organic ghee from the market down here, and I'm using a tablespoon in my coffee, and I'm putting it actually in my blender, and I let it like whip up almost very creamy like. So that's what I'm using. Is that what?
Yeah, but the non-dairy milk. Well, we have some in the pantry, Jack.
You can do like a coconut milk. You can do like a coconut milk is good for non-dairy.
This is a really good one. It's got no sugar in it. It's nice.
Coconut milk.
No bad things in it at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other?
There were so many questions going and some were repeated, so I
Okay.
haven't seen any new ones. We can with the person with saying quotes off the camera.
Okay. So, and you know what I find, and in regards to the fasting at nighttime, that's when people get snacky, right? You stop at 6 o'clock and you're like, oh my gosh, it's 9 o'clock and I'm ready to have the chips or the Juice Plus chewies or something like that, right? And so it takes a while to kind of reset that habit. So I find just have a bunch of teas. I have a bunch of herbal teas, and I'll just fill up on teas. Now you might have to go to the washroom a little bit, but it just takes time for your body to adjust, and ask yourself, like, am I hungry, or is this just a habit? Could I be drinking just some good water, maybe like an electrolyte? Really, really important. And then, of course, I'm a big fan of making sure that you've got like your good levels of magnesium. So I take my magnesium at night before bed.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. This has been so fascinating. You are a wealth of information, Nicole. I really, really appreciate what you brought forward. We had a lot of questions about the recipe, and so I'm just going to share my screen real quickly and let you take a screenshot of that if you don't have the recipe. And then I'm sure many of you heard her talking about Juice Plus and the Juice Plus Complete, which if you are a guest and you don't know about these amazing products, please ask the person who invited you on, because you will want to be on Juice Plus. And then